So today I'll be doing a video discussing Silva versus the Royal Guards and if Silva is strong enough to take down a member of the Royal Guards. Now, yo, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Silva, he is one of the hardest characters to power scale in Hunter x Hunter because he doesn't really have any adversaries, but he doesn't really have any rivals. So people, they'll often compare him to characters like Jing because he's the father of Gon. Some people are like, oh, there's no way he's as strong as Jing. Some people think that he has to be as strong as Jing because he's Killua's father. But then there's some people who ask, is he even stronger than his dad? Because we see that Zeno, he does travel with him on some of the top tier assassination missions, and we see that Zeno, he doesn't really look like he's lost a step. So there's a lot of different questions when it comes to his power scaling, but I do believe that from the events that we've seen from him in the past and some of the stuff that we can tell in the story, he is a very top tier character. We've seen that Silva's battle feats, they are definitely nothing to be laughed at because we found out that he killed a former member of the Phantom Troop, and we saw that he said that it was difficult, and we know that he basically is a very strong fighter. So for him to give somebody props, that definitely does mean that it must have been a tough battle. But it doesn't stop there because we know that he fought Crollo in the past too, and we saw that he knows that Crollo is way stronger than he was in the past. Obviously, you're going to keep getting stronger, but I definitely do think that the fact that he's fought in Crollo and still lived definitely is very impressive, seeing as what we saw what Crollo did to our boy Hisoka. But last but not least, we saw that he one-shotted Cheetu, and this wasn't really a feat for Silva's strength. It was more of a feat in the sense where we saw how much trouble Cheetu was giving to Moro. Like, Moro, he was over here, it took him like, what, 20 episodes to finally deal with him, and in 10 seconds, Silva just squashed him. So that just goes to show you that, yeah, Silva, he is very comparable to some of the top tier hunters. But we also have to look at the Royal Guards feats because I'm not gonna lie, the Royal Guards, they are very, very strong. That's in fact why I had to compare to somebody like Silva. Like, we know Pitou, she did defeat Kite. Even though he did have one arm, she still did defeat him with ease. And we saw that Youpi, he pretty much beat Knuckle and Shoot. Yeah, he pretty much did beat Knuckle and Shoot pretty easily. And there was only like for 2 seconds where Killua really got the advantage over him, and that's mainly because he had the sneak attack. Killua was in his Godspeed mode, and while he was getting in hits on Youpi, I'm not gonna lie, it's not like it was a whole battle where he was getting dominated. So I definitely do have to say that Youpi, he was pretty impressive, but we also do know that Poof did outsmart Moro. And like, again, we saw Moro, he was having trouble with Cheetu, and we saw that he got outsmarted by Poof. So I don't know, maybe would somebody like Poof be able to outsmart Silva? I don't know, but we do know that Pitou, she did get smashed in by Gon, and that is a pretty huge moment because if Gon is able to do that to Pitou, then who's not to say that somebody like Silva wouldn't be able to do that to like Pitou, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that was a huge moment to show how strong the Royal Guards were because that was the first time we really saw them get dominated like that. And we also did see that Youpi's true form, he was pretty much unbeatable. Yeah, Youpi, once he did unlock his true form, he was unbeatable. We saw he was letting people live because they were trash. Like, he was doing a whole lot of crazy things. So I definitely do have to say that the Royal Guards, they do have some pretty impressive feats of their own. But I do believe that Silva was stronger than all of the hunters that were chosen for the assignment. Yes, I believe he was stronger than Morel. No, only person I'm not going to say stronger was than Netero, obviously. But Knuckle, Shoot, Gon, yeah, I believe he was stronger than all of them. And him one-shotting Cheetu was proof enough, to be honest. And the fact that he wasn't really shook about being there. And I definitely do think that if Silva did have a one-on-one fight, he could defeat a member of the Royal Guards. I think he can beat all three members of the Royal Guards. The only one who I think he will have the most problem with is Youpi, just because of his destructive capabilities. But we saw that Silva, he was able to bring out attacks that looked like, I'm gonna be honest, they looked like Big Bang attacks from Dragon Ball Z. Like, we saw what he was able to do, and we know that he hasn't even really gone all out yet. So I definitely would say that Silva, if he did, he can defeat the Royal Guards. I do think that he will have probably the least difficulty with Shaiopouf, but Pitou, yeah, I definitely do think he could defeat her mid-diff, just because I think he's way stronger than Gon in his adult form. I don't know, maybe some people might say he's not, but I do think he can defeat Pitou mid-diff, and the hardest one will most likely be Mental Youpi, just because we saw how crazy he was. But overall, what do you guys think about the thoughts of Silva versus the Royal Guards? Do you you guys think that Silva can beat the Royal Guards? And if you guys like versus battle like this, make sure you guys leave a like, because I will do more of them. And if you guys have any special versus battles that you guys want to see, leave them in the comment section down below. Comment what you guys think down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.